Today we're talking about our hands-on Nintendo Switch experience, the huge Elder Scrolls Oblivion leak, and what did we think about the new marathon gameplay from Bungie? Stick around to find out. Welcome, friends, to this week's episode of Good Playing With You, your weekly gaming news roundup. I'm Dan Whitehill, and as always, I'm joined by my gallant gang of Matts, Matt Lord.
Hey, how's it going?
And Matthew Maulding.
Hey now.
We've got a lot of great stories, so let's just jump straight into those headlines of the week. First up, we gotta talk Switch 2. I'm dying to know all about this. Maulding was the man who got selected and won the raffle.
Let's go.
Yes,
the one of the three of us that probably shouldn't have done it, but it's totally fine.
No, you did us proud.
You did do us proud. We want to hear all about it. How was it?
Yeah, so it was super fun, absolutely fun. The first thing I'm going to say is, man, those Nintendo people run an event like I have never been at before. It was a well-oiled machine. Talk about almost like an amusement park sort of thing. Like they had the first round of people filed in, and then they were waiting and kind of kept us entertained with stuff. And then the next group of people went in, and there was pretty much no waiting except at the very beginning. The staff, probably one staff per machine, and there were hundreds of machines there. It was really, first off, just incredible. Nintendo did a bang up job. I was really impressed with that. So I get in. The first thing I get to do is check out the Nintendo Switch itself. There was one person per Switch. You get to hold it. You get to pull off the Joy-Cons. You get to feel how heavy it is. You get to take a look at the screen itself. And it's free roam. Like it's not tied down to anything, so you can turn it around. You get to check out the back flip stand and everything. And I know you guys had some questions about just on that, so I'd love to field some of those while you have them. So what do you have to ask about the system itself?
Yeah, what kind of magnets did they use for those Joy-Cons? Did you ask Maulding or?
I didn't. The guy didn't know. He was just like, "Well, they're magnets."
It's like I've never had anyone ask.
He wasn't like it's like rare earth metal magnets. No, it was nothing like that. So
yeah,
we didn't have to on that. But I was really impressed. Like I did a pretty good pull on them to try to yank them out without hitting the button, and they were solid. There's a little side trigger on each of them that you pull that and it releases the magnets. I don't know what magic trickery is used for that, but it disengages the magnets and they pop out and then pop right back in. Very, very easy and feels very solid. And I was really impressed with it.
Awesome. I want to know about the machine itself. Does it feel bigger? Does it feel heftier? Or is it just as light? Does it feel like an adult machine? Does it what about the screen?
It feels hefty and adult. I definitely will say that. It's brighter, much brighter than the Switch. I flipped on the Switch right before I left just to reorient myself on what it looks like. Definitely brighter, bigger. I loved the size. I think the size actually is kind of perfect. It's still, because I'm not a handheld guy, it still doesn't excite me to be working on a handheld, but it is better than the Switch, absolutely. And that back kickstand, solid AF. That thing is not moving anywhere, and a great range of movement on it, so you can push it almost all the way to the back, so that you have if you're on an airplane, you can adjust it however you need to on an airplane. And that thing, I did not feel like that thing was flimsy at all or was it going to break. It felt really good.
Yeah, because that Switch 1 kickstand needs some milk. That thing, the thing sucks. Yeah, I think one of my other questions was, how was the heat coming off that thing? Did it produce any?
Great question. I even asked, so the machines had been running for 2 to 3 hours, all of them. Not the one that I had my hands on that wasn't tethered, wasn't on, but anything else that I was able to touch, 2 to 3 hours that had been running, no heat at all. I was really impressed with that. I mean, because they were running, I mean, it was at least 2, 3, 4 hours or something, and just nothing. No,
and they were playing like Mario Kart or something.
Playing Mario Kart, yeah. The one I really got my hands on was Mario Kart, and yeah, that one, nothing. And I asked her, I'm like, wow, like I'm really impressed that this thing isn't hot at all. And she's like, yeah, no, it's been running, and we haven't had any issues. Yeah,
well,
so
that's
impressive.
what I'm dying to hear about, though, are the games. So after the hands-on, what did they have you do?
So after that hands-on, we waited a little bit, and then they paired you up with someone if you didn't come there with someone. And it turns out we all could have, and maybe you guys did, on the entry form for the sweepstakes, you could have added people to it. And
but they have to be in your Nintendo family, I think.
Oh, maybe that's what it was, because there were a couple. They were all family people that were there, so that must have been the thing. So me and another guy, we paired up, and they bring us over to the side, and we both get to play against each other in Mario Kart. That's the very first one. So we play one round of Mario Kart, which I took third. The guy took first. It was fine. We played on the TV. It was great. My first session was Boo. I enjoyed myself some Boo. And then we each got to play solo against the CPU, computer, whatever, on handheld. And super fun. I really enjoyed it. And then after that, we were all ushered to play the knockout round, to play knockout. And
that's a 24 person.
That 24 person kind of battle royale mode. We did a little free roam as everyone got ready, because each person gets to choose what circuit they'd like to run, and then it does like a random selection to choose the track that everyone ends up running. And we did the very first one that was in the show today or yesterday. The Super Mario Circuit is the one that we did. It's really, I mean, the rarity of actually playing with 24 people in the same spot, like hearing people cry out when they lose, like that's, you're never going to have that again, probably. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, Mr. doesn't play Nintendo games took the first place. I was really shocked at my own skills. Everyone was like, wow. Well. You have trained me well. I was like, wow. Everyone was like, wow, good job. And I'm like, well, I've been playing this game for 25 years. So, I better be good at it. No. So the game itself is actually, it is really fun. It is not $80 worth of fun at all, but
I believe
it is
that.
super fun.
I believe that.
Very colorful. When you choose your character, you have like the base characters, and then you keep on moving to the right, and then you have the base characters in different outfits. So I picked Moo, and I was very, very impressed with Moo. Super cute, big nipples, big fan of that, or udders. It was utterly ridiculous. And I had a lot of fun. You get to do a little free roam beforehand. That didn't impress me all that much. But
what does that feel like? Just going around?
I mean, you're just running around. What we saw in the direct, I guess they even called it a Mario Kart Direct today, you got to see that there was some secret stuff that you could run around and find. Either it wasn't available in what I was doing, or I just wasn't able to find any of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about running to each track. I think I'd rather just want to play the game, but it is nice that that's there. It's nice.
Yeah. Like, what is the benefit? Yeah. Just find treasure. Is that really it?
I get exploration, I guess. Yeah, a little something different.
Yeah,
which is nice.
So you just don't stop playing it. So there's
you just don't stop running. You just run around. You do get to kind of see the extent of the world, and it felt really big, as it should. Like, I would be disappointed if it felt small at that point. But I'm there to race against people. I'm really not there to. This is my opinion. I'm there to race against people. I'm not really there to free roam and explore in a Mario Kart game, but I'm happy that it's there because it's nice and something different for people to be able to play.
Did it feel like a system seller game changer sort of gotta have, or is it just more Mario Kart?
It's more Mario Kart. It really is. I loved the battle royale part of it. I thought that was really fun. Playing against that many people is a blast. Especially when you win. That's even a bigger bonus. But yeah, it's more Mario Kart, which is great. But $80 is quite the ask for more Mario Kart.
Was anyone vocalizing that at the event? Were they like, well, $80?
No, I don't think price wasn't really talked about it. Everyone I think was in the same mindset that they were just happy to be there and happy to see the stuff before anyone else.
Nice.
Okay, so what was next?
I didn't get into so after that, then you got to move on, and they suggested that you move on to Donkey Kong. So you flip a right, and I got to play about 15 minutes of Donkey Kong. I think I liked did I like Donkey Kong better than Mario Kart? I don't know. I felt pretty similar about them. They're both very fun games. The thing about Donkey Kong, I felt like, what was the Greek game that's kind of a Zelda takeoff? You're like a Greek warrior.
Phoenix Rising.
Phoenix
Rising. So I got a little, and the reason I say Phoenix Rising is because you're in kind of this open world environment with Donkey Kong where it looks like there's just puzzles everywhere, puzzles and enemies everywhere for things to do. Like, why is this big banana covered in glass? Like, how do I get that out of the glass? Looking around to try to figure out how to do it. It's awesome because one button for Donkey Kong digs down, one button digs up, and you can really dig down. Like you start off go ahead. What?
Yeah, no, it's like, and then you dig.
You're just so excited.
Game already. I'm like, I'm gonna dig under the glass. This is such a me game, and this is definitely the one.
I really felt like I was trying to channel you and your enjoyment of it. Absolutely, because I really felt like that was a Dan game for sure. This is the Mario replacement for the launch title. Like, if they didn't have a Mario, this is what they have. They have replacing it.
So would you say it has a little bit more of like a Breath of the Wild spin then, instead of like an Odyssey, which has different like environments? You're staying in one world, but there's kind of like the puzzles everywhere, but not Breath of the Wild-ish.
It's not Breath of the Wild-ish.
Okay.
And I haven't played Odyssey, so I can't compare it against Odyssey, right. But that would be my guess that is what it's more like. So maybe like unless Odyssey open world, then like an open world Odyssey is.
It's like
kind of
more have like a world that you would go to and then you can explore it. So it's like kind of open, right, Dan? And then
that's
you
probably what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Nice.
But for that one, I really felt like, my 15 minutes is up. I wanted to play more of that one.
You borrow
I wanted to see more. Yeah, let me borrow it. I'd appreciate it because I wanted to see more. It's really busy. Like you're just punching, digging, and there's just gold coming at you all the time, and you're just digging, find bananas. Like, I wasn't really sure what I was doing, but I knew I was under a time constraint, so I wasn't really paying attention to like the instructions so much as just like I wanted to see as much as I could with the time I had. So that was super fun.
So would that sell the console, do you think? I love that question, Dan. Yeah. I had to steal it.
Would that sell the console?
It did for me. I think.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you like. It's just it's not my thing. So but I do want to play it. I just don't want to spend that amount of money to just play that. Play that.
It's the one game that is not 80-90. It is 70.
Correct.
And that's what kind of like, I think I'm going to buy the system, and then I'm going to buy that one game, and then I'm not buying anything else. So.
Yeah,
for a while.
It was definitely fun. It was. I really wanted to play more of it.
Cool.
Then once you're done there, you you're in like a free roam area, and then you can just go to whatever game you wanted to go to. And the first one I saw at that point was Mario Party, and I wanted to play Mario Party, and she was great. You paired you up with a random person. And you played 2v2, and we got to play 3 different games. One was all the games we played were mouse based, so everything was mouse.
Nice.
And I specifically asked her, I was like, so what are you supposed to do? Like when you're on the couch, like, are you just supposed to put it on your, she's like, oh yeah, you just put it on your pant leg. Like you just put it on your leg. And I'm like, okay. Cause we were at tables, like, sorry, there were tables there for us to use. Without those, like, I don't know what I would be using. I guess my leg to do the things I needed to do. I'm not so sure.
Did you test it out? Did you put it down on your leg?
Yeah, I put it on my leg and it worked fine, but I wasn't able to like sit down at a thing and see how it worked. So I'm a little.
Do you think that's viable?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. You needed a big range of motion for the stuff I was doing. Like I was putting these envelopes. I was like filing these envelopes in the first game. The second game was kind of a stacking thing. You were stacking blocks to versus another person. And the third one, oh gosh, I can't remember what the third game was now. But those two I remember. The stacking blocks was super fun. You're competing to just see who can have a stable tower of stuff, and but all of them use that mouse. So then I moved to Metroid. So we got a lot of pushback on a show or two ago about our opinions of what Metroid Prime looked like on the Switch. It looks way better on the Switch too. So if you're going to buy this game, buy it on the Switch too. Looks way better. But man, it is not my gameplay style. It is slow AF. Those enemies just stand there and you fire at them. It is not my thing.
Was that like how it wasn't like that in Prime. I thought the enemies were pretty quick, right, Dan? I thought they had some motion.
No. But it is like the trailer that we saw. The trailer, everything was slow. The scanning was slow. And the combat seems a little slow. So that's unfortunate to hear.
Movement slow. What I loved, though, is I thought with the switch from the holding the Joy-Con regular or using the mouse, I thought maybe there'd be a selection that you'd have to choose, like, I want to play in mouse mode or I want to play in regular Joy-Con mode. No, you just turn your Joy-Con over and it turns into mouse mode, which I thought was awesome. I was super shocked.
Awesome. I love that so much.
Yeah, I love that too. I was super impressed. But you also have to, in that mouse mode where you're aiming at it, and it felt like I was playing on a PC. It was speedy, really, really responsive. But you also have to be able to press buttons on the Joy-Con at the same time as you're mousing. And just me, because I don't know the Joy-Con layout as well as I know a regular controller, like I was hitting the wrong button constantly. I was constantly turning into a ball when I needed to hit missiles because my thumb with the buttons are just so small on that Joy-Con that I was just
kind of demonstrate. So the buttons are on the side and you're using your thumb?
Correct. Yeah, the buttons are on the side and you're using your thumb. Yeah, unless there is a possibility that I was doing something wrong, but that is how I was playing it, and I was kind of having a hard time with it. That would
confuse me too if the controller is being held almost like sideways and
it's not. There was I think maybe I was using my I was using my index finger like a mouse as a trigger. But there was stuff I needed to hit with my thumb, and I was not having an easy time doing it.
But you had the other Joy-Con in your other hand too
But you had movement. The other Joy-Con in your hand for the.
I was hoping to hear that the Joy-Cons were bigger, so that's a bummer to hear.
They are bigger, but they're just not. It's
enough?
Just not big enough. Yeah. And then we've been talking about this a lot, so I'll just speed through the other ones. Then I played Hades 2. Some internet chuds might be angry. They were playing as a woman in Hades 2, but I had a great time with that one. Then I played, those were all the original games that I played. And then I tried, I wanted to see what some of the ports looked like. So I played Street Fighter, had a great time with Street Fighter, played Hogwarts Legacy, which looked great, but played exactly the same as it does on every or on the Xbox, and Cyberpunk. And those were the ones Cyberpunk looked, it looked really good. But I was very close to the television, so my mole eyes could see it really well. But it looked great. It didn't, she let me touch the machine. It wasn't hot at all for having it on all day. So,
nice.
Yeah. So altogether, I came out of that way more bullish on the Switch 2 than I went into it.
Okay, that
Yeah,
leads my question that I was dying to know, that I wanted to ask you when we talked about this over the weekend. Has going to this event and getting hands on made you actually want to buy one day one? Are you more, inclined to pick it up now?
it made me more inclined to pick it up, but I'm not going to pick it up. But it made me more inclined to. It definitely, I went into it being like, and I came out like, yay, yeah, like I have a new backpack. Like I got
Okay,
it was. They did give me a backpack, which was nice.
Did it feel like a new console, or did it just feel like a Super Switch?
It did not feel like a new console. It felt like a Super Switch.
Yeah.
There you have it.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Well, this is the next question, because Dan's got it, and then I got to do my conspiracy question. Were these consoles, do you think, specifically optimized for this event, and we're not going to be getting hit with these consoles in the public?
No, I don't think so. I think the games were specifically optimized to us. They made it so that, like in Metroid, I couldn't die. Like every time I got close to dying, my health refilled. So the games were optimized for it. But yes, that was that was it.
All right.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That is awesome. Seems like a fun time. I'm glad you got it.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to go. I wish Lord would have went with his handheld, being a big fan of handheld, and Dan would have went with his extensive Nintendo knowledge, but you're stuck with old Maulding. So that's what I got.
Well, I'm sorry that sounds amazing. I'm sorry we rushed you kind of through it. If anyone
that's okay.
If anyone else out there has any specific questions for Maulding that we might not have asked, please feel free to email us at goodplayingwithyou@gmail.com and let us know your question about the hands-on Nintendo Switch, and we'll have Maulding answered on the next pod.
Yeah, I'll do a little AMA.
Exactly. Speaking of video games and something coming out really soon, Oblivion just leaked almost out of nowhere. It's kind of a surprising story that I wanted to get your guys' reaction on. This is Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake images leak ahead of imminent release by Paul Tassi at Forbes. And he writes, it's unclear why Microsoft and Bethesda have decided to keep this a poorly kept secret ahead of its release, but a load of reputable sources are now reporting that they are about to drop the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake quite literally a week from now. The one beginning April 21st. This has been said for a while by insiders, by Nate the Hate and VGC, and now the reliable Jeff Grubb has come out to say the same thing. It's next week. Quote, other people have said, I've got separate confirmation that is going to be the case, Grubb said. We're also now seeing leaks about the game and what it will look like in Unreal Engine 5. And this is not simply a bit of polish, but a complete remaster. This is a full remake for Virtuous, the developer, and that's their specialty. These images were unfortunately leaked by Virtuous itself, though, in a now private page on its own website. But of course, it's a little bit too late because the internet got them, and so did we. So enjoy the quick look at them. But gentlemen, you've seen the screenshots. Surely this has got to be real, especially with all the buzz going on right now. What do you think? And are you excited or not? And do you really think it's going to come out next week?
Maulding?
I hope it comes out next week, but here's... yes, I'm so excited to play it. Those screenshots looked phenomenal. I loved it because I know Oblivion pretty well for playing it pretty extensively. So seeing the differences between what they had before and what it's going to look like now, I really I want to play. But what I really sad for, poor Claire Obscura 33 is coming out on the same day. I think I would be really upset if I was that team or either team, knowing that big game's coming out on the same day, hitting probably the exact same audience. So I'd be really bummed about that. But I'm gonna try to play both of them.
Wait, what is that? What game is coming out at the same time?
That RPG, the French kind of RPG.
Oh, yes.
Numbers on the pillar game.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't believe that's next week. That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I respect them for trying to keep it as a shadow drop, if that's what they were going for.
Too.
I know. And that's what I love a shadow drop. So if they were trying to do that, then hey, hats off to you. I think that's great. The screenshots, I would say the screenshots were about as what I would expect from a remaster such as this. So it's not like I'm like, this looks great. Like I really liked it, showed that like fire portal. That for some reason I was really drawn to that. I was like, this is awesome.
Lord loves a fire hole.
Yeah. I was looking for that fire hole. I was like, and so I think, yes, it is really, really cool that we're going to be potentially getting it next week. And I would be really surprised if it doesn't come out next week, considering we've been talking about this for about a month now, or like even longer, like 2 months.
Yeah.
So, and they've been saying like, oh yeah, probably April. So yes, I'm hoping it's next week. It should be next week. And hey, if it's next week, we got 2 new games to look forward to. So super stoked on that.
Yeah, it's definitely great for gamers. I got to be honest with you. I mean, yes, it looks completely good, but I don't understand why next week. Is there something special I'm missing about next? Why would they shadow drop this out of nowhere? This would seem much more likely to come out at an event like their show in June. That's where I would believe this. And I'm not saying I don't believe it, but I'm just like, why Microsoft? You've got a banger lineup right on Game Pass right now, especially with Claire Obscure and everything, and Blueprints just came out and a whole bunch of stuff. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're going to just, in a very crowded kind of slate, drop this really important game. I think I have such good memories of it, but I don't know. Like that's wild.
It does seem random, and I think you nailed it. Like, why not? Like a shadow drop like this would come at an event. So maybe, do you think there's potentially some sort of event next week that they might shadow drop as well?
I don't know. I don't think so. But so I would be like, okay, the date's not happening. But I have one more follow-up article to tell you guys about real quick. And that is Games Radar Catherine Lewis wrote an article about Oblivion Remastered. Hasn't been officially announced, but Xbox support seemingly has no qualms about sharing the unconfirmed RPG's apparent release date. Microsoft's AI chatbot, everyone's assuming it's a chatbot because multiple people have gone and chatted with Xbox support and gotten the same answers or similar answers. So Microsoft's AI chatbot on Xbox support website could be sharing some details earlier than intended. Multiple Twitter users have claimed that the account is replying to them with fresh information about the supposed RPG remaster, including its apparent April 21st release date. They have learned it's a day one on Game Pass. It will be on PS5 and PC as well.
Oh.
And some of the chatbots said it would have all of the DLC included. Some of the chatbots broke up the deluxe edition and the regular base game. So they weren't sure exactly what was going to be included. The assumption was it was the deluxe version on Game Pass. But even the chatbot seems to be confirming it. I think now they've kind of changed it and it's not happening anymore, but people are posting this to Twitter, which really gives credence to the date. So it's like a lot of smoke. There's got to be fire situation, I'm guessing. Again, still confused on the date, but yeah.
Microsoft is probably left wondering how to fire a chatbot right now. we need to sack this thing. It's blowing up our details. That's great. I mean, that to me alone, I feel like that it's reminiscent of like when like a Best Buy or GameStop kind of leaks a little like, here's a peripheral that'll be available, yada, yada date. And usually those are pretty like, I mean, I think they've been wrong a little bit, but they're still pretty accurate. And so I would actually say that's kind of like the smoking gun. So I think it's guaranteed going to be next week. I'm going to put it down. Guaranteed. If I'm wrong, come at me for next
You're fired.
Yeah, I'm fired. Chatbot's after me.
Yeah, all right. We'll hire the chatbot.
Well, I'm super pumped. I'm going to have to divide my time between those 2 games. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yep, it'll be interesting to see. Can't wait to find out. Speaking of games coming out relatively soon, or at least being officially announced, Marathon, the new game from Bungie. It's not quite Destiny or Halo. It's got similar elements, but it's more of an extraction shooter, and we finally got to put our eyes on it. Maulding, you had the story.
Yeah, good news, kids. More of Maulding talking. So here we go. This is from Ethan Gash at Kotaku. Bungie's ambitious sci-fi extraction shooter Marathon launches this year. Here's everything we know. The studio behind Halo and Destiny pulled back the curtain on Saturday to reveal a bunch of new information about its next big game, including that it's out later this year. Here's everything we've learned. The Bungie live stream offered a deep dive into Marathon, narrated with incredible gravitas by Balatro clown Ben Starr and my not-so-secret crush, and culminated in a September 23rd release date, going head-to-head with Borderlands 4, actually, on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, with full crossplay. The top-level pitch is this. You play as a cybernetic mercenary called a runner who takes contracts to scavenge the remains of a lost colony on Tau Ceti 4. It's PvPvE, so players will have to fight one another as well as AI-controlled UESC security forces and otherworldly threats, quote-unquote, to loot facilities and complete their objectives. If they successfully extract, they grow in power, and new gear gets added to a vault to be taken out and used on the next mission. But if they get wiped on the surface, everything gets left behind. Any loot you extract with gets added to a vault to be used in future runs, though if it's ever lost in a team wipe, it's lost for good. Bungie also said that the sponsored packages, quote unquote again, from various corporate factions will give players a baseline loadout needed to stay competitive. We saw 4 different runner characters, Locust, Blackbird, Glitch, and Void, each with unique looks, playstyles, and abilities that can offer an extra edge. There will be unique stats for different characters, as well as customization when it comes to implants, cores, weapons, weapon attachments. Marathon will be Bungie's first new project in over a decade, and its first new game as part of PlayStation, where the reported underperformance of Destiny 2 led to multiple rounds of deep cuts in the last 2 years. You can take a look at the Bungie live stream if you want to see more of it for yourself. So, boys, what do you think of what you've seen so far? Is this a game you're excited for?
What? I honestly, I watched the gameplay a few times, and I was just like, was this what they showed off at that trailer? Like, a year or 2 ago? I was like, this is not what I was expecting. Like, very, like, they're kind of blending like this 32-bit like look with this polished like Unreal 5 graphics. I don't know, that the combination of those two for some reason was just not meshing for me. So the interfaces when you're looting and getting whatever you're extracting from the map, for some reason that little menu when it was like all 32-bit looked wonky to me. I thought it looked like an indie game sort of loadout. And I don't know. I was a little bit concerned with what I was seeing. I just, when there was the moments of gameplay and you're pulling up your, like when you're ADSing and you're looking through the scope and things are still kind of like pixelated around you, had me a little bit concerned. It doesn't seem like it's, I think like they just don't know if they like just skipped out on cost and they made it 32-bit or that was totally intentional. It just seems seems a little all over the place. That was my initial reaction. Like, this game looks all over the place. I don't know if they have this one locked in.
I gotta agree on this one. It kind of looks like designed by committee for me. It's a little bit of a bummer because I'm such a huge fan of Destiny right now. I just got in and they just ended their saga of Light and Dark. And if you're ever going to jump in, I think they have a bundle on discount this weekend, which is everything. And it is highly worth it. There's so much meat on the bone there and so much to do. And so being such a huge fan of Bungie, I wanted to love this. And, it just looks like something they're like, that I've already seen before, not in terms of graphics. I haven't seen it before, and there's a reason there. But in terms of gameplay and the whole, like, you can lose all your loot and the whole, like, the fact that it's a premium game, right? So they haven't announced the official price, but we're assuming it's 70. Or
I think so.
I've heard rumblings that it was 40. Okay. That's what
I would guess it's 40.
I think it's unconfirmed.
I would guess it's 40.
40. That'd be great.
But they said it was a premium game, but then I'm like, well, Concord tried to charge and that one didn't go over too. I hate to say it, but like this is not a me game. I support its right to exist. If an audience falls in love with it, yeah, awesome. I'm a super huge fan of Bungie, but this is not for me.
I would like to say I do love an extraction shooter. I love high stakes, going into a map, trying to gather as much loot as you can, and if you lose it, you lose it. I love that like Dark Souls like the vibes. Like you can lose it and you lose all your stuff. It's gone. And okay, so Escape from Tarkov did that extremely well. And see, the problem is in my mind, when you look at inventory stuff within Escape from Tarkov, a lot of the stuff looks very realistic in there, almost photorealistic. Like they'll have like a WD-40, but it's changed, or like a Snickers bar that's changed to, and it just like, for some reason, that was what the appeal was. And so when you're just looting a random like 32-bit little graphic, it wasn't bringing on those certain emotions that I would expect from like, oh, I want to get this loot. So I just had to say that because I think extraction shooters are really cool, but I don't know. This wasn't exactly speaking to me right off the bat.
Yeah, I have to agree with everyone. And I think a lot of people across the swaths of the internet kind of feel the same way. That the style is really intriguing, but I feel like it's a stylish as F. Like it is one of the most stylish games I've ever seen. I was thinking like Mirror's Edge, like that sort of that feeling that it gave me. But I think I don't know. Are people really wanting more extraction shoot or more like hero shooters? Is that what people want? But Lord, yeah, you might be wanting it. For me, I definitely got whiffs of Concord from this.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. And I don't think I'm the only one. Andy Chalk from PC Gamer wrote about former Firewalk Studios senior VFX artist Stephen Williams, who worked on Concord, talking to Reddit after the reveal, saying Concord failed to inspire players and the message was heard loud and clear. It was gut-wrenching to see our project fail and be the laughingstock of many online. I have learned that failure is what drives me to succeed. No one feels as bad as the people who put their time on the line, hoping it will entertain the masses of gamers across the globe. He continues in responses on the thread, but to call this game a failure before it's even out is wild to me. I am stoked to see the
Agreed.
fully polished product. Bungie will cook. They always do. So yes, we were a little bait and switch with Concord for sure. We thought it was going to be one thing. Maybe that's our own fault for thinking it was going to be one thing, and it turned out to be something different. But yeah, maybe we should let them cook a little bit. I don't know. It just doesn't excite me. That's the thing. I don't look at that as like, wow, I can't wait to play that game.
If they went free to play, then 100% I would jump in no matter what. But you're right. If it's gonna have $40, like I'm going to be immediately hesitant, and so are many other players.
So if you looking at this, someone put in front of you Helldivers or this game, although you know what Helldivers plays like, is that the one you're still going to go for with those two choices?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you, I think the weird, digitized, I keep saying 32-bit, but it's probably not the correct term because it's probably higher quality than that. But I think they should have stuck with a certain graphic style, made it all super shiny and polished. And that's what I was led to believe when we initially saw the trailer a couple years ago. I'm like, this is going to be a super sleek, futuristic looking game. Then we see what they just put out. And I'm like, that wasn't that game. Like, it's as simple as that. It's been marketing flaws left and right in the video game biz.
But and you're right about the look. Like, I want to be a super soldier, and that's why Helldivers is so awesome.
Yes.
And this is promising me a pixelated, a little bit more generic shooter. Well, at least Helldivers was doing something original, and it was changing, and then there was a lot of feedback, and it was great. And it did charge, and it did well. So, maybe this game can charge and do well once we finally get our hands on it. It's not the same level of cool for me.
Yeah.
I have one more story on this.
Yep.
Morgan Park from PC Gamer also had a story from an interview with game director Joe Ziegler talking about how Marathon won't have proximity chat at launch, saying, "I don't think we're against the experience of it. To be fair, I think the challenge is how to make sure we're creating a safe environment for players inside of that space. I don't think anyone really has a good solution to that just yet, because we're so dedicated to making sure that we're creating a safe space where we don't have players just flaming each other or doing terrible things to one another. I think we're not ready to invest in proximity chat until we have a solution." Is that a factor for either of you at all? Proximity chat?
That actually makes me feel a little bit better, because I'm always that guy who's trying to learn. I get in the game a week or two late. Everyone knows how to play it. And then I get some a-hole living in his basement, like yelling at me like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, "I can tell you what I'm doing. I'm reporting you." Click. No. But no,
Karen.
so actually, yeah, exactly. In a cooperative game that's not super high stakes like that, then I love proximity chat when it's team based. But I can see Sweats getting into this one and yelling obscenities, and that's when I'm out.
I gotta tell you, that's the death nail for me. I need the proximity chat. You have to have it. Extraction shooters, Tarkov has it. It's how you communicate to the enemy team or an ally. I'm assuming you can maybe play as the enemy teams that you're going to be fighting. Like you'll almost act as the, like how Tarkov does it. You can go in as like the scavs, which are like the enemies that look like the NPCs on the map, and you would fight the normal players. And you can kind of communicate that way. There's just a whole other level. I mean, I think the toxicity is going to be there no matter what. And so just removing it at all, I don't think that's the solution. I think you need to figure something out.
Yeah, there's got to be a communication system. Yes. There's got to be a ping. There's got to be a wheel. There's going to be emotes. There's going to be ways to communicate for sure. And it's just not going to be the voice chat.
I just love, I mean, the voice chat needs to be there. It's just, it's part of the allure of those extraction shooters. I'm telling you.
Do you think, Dan, you've actually reported Lord at some point in your gameplay? That's what it sounds like.
No, I don't think I haven't reported anyone, to be honest with you. I've been reported and banned on 2 occasions.
Yeah, you have. You have.
Yeah, Dan, you're just trying to protect yourself out there. Dan's like, I can't get banned a 3rd time.
I got a pre-report before I get reported.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that will definitely be an interesting game to watch. And then speaking of interesting games to watch, we just got a new trailer for Cronos.
Yes.
Lord, you had this one.
Oh yeah. So this comes from GameSpot's Blair Marnell. Cronos, the New Dawn gameplay reveals the horror of time travel. Last year, Bluebird Team's remake of Silent Hill 2 recaptured the spirit of the classic survival horror game. This year, Bluebird Team is following that title with Cronos, the New Dawn, an original sci-fi horror game. Now, Bluebird Team has offered fans an advanced look at Cronos' gameplay, which may remind some players of Dead Space, which automatically earns me big 2 thumbs up. Cronos puts players in the role of a traveler who has gone back in time to extract human survivors from the aftermath of an apocalypse. In this timeline, the end of the world happened in the 1980s, and mankind's survival depends on the traveler's ability to rescue key individuals from the past. Unlike Silent Hill 2's James Sunderland, the traveler is very well armed. However, the monstrous creatures known as orphans are also more formidable. Their bodies are made of human flesh, and the trailer warns players not to let the orphans merge. When that inevitably happens, even the traveler's arsenal may not be enough to put the merged creatures down. And I believe, Dan, you watched the gameplay, and I watched the gameplay. Maulding, did you get to catch it?
I didn't get a chance to.
No worries.
I'm so sorry.
I am very happy with how this game was looking at. Like, I wasn't so sure. We got a good look at this gameplay, and it was right up your alley, Maulding. They showed plenty of stuff.
Nice.
It looked scary. I will say, like, I think they're nailing these horror elements, very Dead Space. And yeah, when these orphans are merging, they kind of like can get, so I think a big part of the game is going to be you keeping the enemies away from the dead enemies so they don't like combine and like create like a super monster. And it looks
sounds really cool.
It's really cool. Like I liked the look of that a lot. And I haven't I love the OG Dead Spaces, and yes, it was very reminiscent of that, but it had like some psychological stuff going on, had a little bit reminiscent of like the Control world. You have some of the Returnal aspects in there. And I just thought it looked really great. I gotta say the gameplay looked cool. So
I don't know. I'm not a hater because I'll definitely get this, and I'm going to probably play it when it's like $20. But here's the thing: it really does look too close to Dead Space, and it looked too close to Callisto Protocol. It is Dead Space on Earth, and the only gimmick they have here is the zombies merging, which is a good one. But if they force it, and it's like, man, I shot him 5 times, but they let him live so he could merge because it's a story beat, it's going to make me a little bit angry. But here's the thing: the one problem I have with this game is I miss color. And unfortunately, this one is black and red, and there might be a little yellow, but there is not much else in this game. It's a real throwback to the early 2000s days of like Gears of War, not from a gameplay standpoint, of course, but from everything being grayish. And it's missing a whole color element that I find a little bit off-putting. Now, Bloober Team is amazing with their graphics, and what they've done on the last couple of games, including Silent Hill, have been great. And I am curious to see how they transition now to being more of a shooter. Of course, the action in Silent Hill 2 is obtuse for a reason. But here it's got to be much more visceral, much more impactful, and much more exciting. And can they make that happen? It looks like it from the trailer, so I'm rooting them on. It's just not that original that I'm like, ooh, I'm going to pay $70 for it.
All valid points. I will say they did show a little the impacts of the bullets on some of these creatures, which I was like, that was nice. Yeah,
I'm not bagging on it. I'm not bagging
on it. No. I agree. The color palette, you're right in some cases, but I could definitely tell they're going for like that dark element. And so I'm going to let the colors pass. I'm going to say, I think it's kind of fitting with what the game is clearly going for, like a dark horror sci-fi. And I just think, okay, now you've piqued my interest.
Maybe you play a little bit of this, which sounds really fun. It does sound right up my alley. And then you're like, if I want some color, play some Donkey Kong, because that thing was colorful.
Yeah.
So just switch it up a bit.
I think that could be the answer. All right, let's move on to the listener emails of the week. It's time for emails of the week. And if you want to suggest a topic, feel free to hit us up at goodplayingwithyou@gmail.com, just like Pixie667 did. She wrote, Hey guys, silly question here. With the Easter holiday rapidly approaching, what are the best video games I could play with eggs in them?
Wow, great question.
It's a random ass question. I'm here for it. What do you guys say? What are video games you've played that have eggs?
Maulding, take it away.
The first thing I thought was Yoshi's Island. Like, I think that is the first time that I could imagine or that I can think of playing a game where I was able to use an egg as a weapon. It might not be, but it's the first thing I remember using it. And I love how Yoshi was the whole conceit of, eating an enemy and then changing that into a weapon. I think that was really cool and really fun. Super colorful if you're looking for something colorful. I thought that was a great use of eggs.
And probably one of the better. I was gonna say best soundtrack, sound effects.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, both.
Yeah, the little super fun. yeah. I mean, eating enemies and shitting out eggs. What's better than that? I don't know.
Lord, what's your next one? Or your
Oh yeah. So mine. This is a throwback, boys. The Digimon Tamagotchi. Now,
deep cut.
I think
that's the little thing, right?
The
that
square
you
one.
Raised.
Oh yeah. And every one of those monsters starts off as a little egg and they hatched.
Oh yeah.
And that was so much fun. Okay, so tell me if I'm wrong about this. Back in the day, you would have that and you would put a straw in the battery slot and you could reset the Tamagotchi to try and, or Digimon, to get the best Digimon. Did you guys do that?
I think we're a little different generation, unfortunately, Lord.
I am telling you guys, that was so cool. There was and then you can battle them, and each time when you saw that little egg and what was going to hatch out of it, I'm telling you, it was like little kid gambling, basically.
Yeah,
and, great time. Good eggs.
Oh, I had this girl. She was my friend. She loaned me her Tamagotchi, and I accidentally let it die. And then when I handed it back, it was actually dead, and that ruined our whole relationship. So I'm a little scarred when it comes to that.
Sorry for bringing up that sore subject.
Sorry, Monica.
Oh, Monica.
Oh, Monica.
Yep. Well, speaking of more fun games that have eggs in them, I love Aliens Fireteam Elite. It is an awesome game, and as you progress through these levels, it's a squad-based shooter, and you've got guns, and there are eggs, and if you don't shoot them when you're passing them, the face huggers jump out, and they scramble after you, and you got to like get them before they can jump on your face. So you're always on the lookout for these eggs in the level because they're so precariously placed, and it's very sneaky. And if you can get them in advance, you're safe. But if you can't, you're effed. And it's good times.
Oh, great times. So for watching you play that.
It is a fun game. Another one, Ark. Man, Ark has fantastic use of eggs. Not only can you find wild eggs out in the world, but then when you capture and tame dinos and then you breed them and you get an egg and then you hatch that egg and then you can figure out like if it got the best traits of both parents and then you raise it and then have it mate with something else and that could be a whole game for me in itself, is just hatching eggs from dinos, getting the best egg I can and moving on and getting bigger and better dinos. I love that stuff.
I love it. That sounds actually, I would play that, Maulding. Can you develop that, please?
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, I'll do what I can. Yeah, the egg, Ark egg.
The Ark egg. My next egg game, and this is a little bit of a double dip into the Yoshi world, but man, getting gobbled up and diarrheaed off the map in Super Smash Bros. By Yoshi was just egg, like, not this one was like a painful egg, because there was something so demoralizing about getting egged off the map. You're just like, all right, I guess I'm done. I can't do anything about this. I am falling to my death here. And so I had to add it because it's just,
that sounds super powerful.
Oh, it is. Oh, Dan, I think you've played some Smash back.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Yoshi's my boy.
Have you been egged?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I egg people. I don't get it.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah, it was so frustrating. So had to throw that one in there.
Another fun use of eggs that I've experienced is Fortnite. And unfortunately, they didn't do this event this year or actually last year, but in 2023 and also 2021, they did a Fortnite like spring break event, which was all about like dressing up as bunnies and running around in the levels, and of course, shooting people. But they had 3 interactable eggs in Fortnite. There were the healing eggs that restored your health. There were the hopping eggs that gave you like a low gravity effect. And then there were golden eggs, which gave you gold. And so I love seasonal event type games. And man, that Fortnite one was really fun.
Oh, that's awesome. I missed that one, but I would hope they bring that one back because I need some more eggs in my life.
That's what I'm saying. So does Pixie667. Yes. So thank you so much for that random ass question. We truly appreciate it. Pretty much wraps up everything we have for this week. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And if you're listening on a podcast, please tell like 22 friends. And on behalf of Matthew Maulding, Matt Lord, and myself, Dan Whitehill, thanks for joining us. And as always, good playing with you.
Good playing with you.
Good playing with you.